Hey guys, Mal here, and today we're going to take a look at Fallout 76. Since the start of beta through to yesterday, I've been playing Fallout 76 and working on a video about it. I found it extremely hard to write about because even now I'm still not entirely sure if the game is fantastic or terrible. By the time I was done writing the script, it was looking like a 15-minute rant about the game. Then I realized that a lot of what I was saying was already well known and has been covered thoroughly. So I scrapped it entirely, and instead, here is how I personally feel about the game. If you played Fallout 4, then you're going to feel right at home here in 76. If you didn't though, it's a confusing mess of awkward menus, hidden keybinds, and a bunch of systems that are never explained to you. Visually, I think the game looks great and is full of interesting things to see. Though Gal, who actually played both, told me that Fallout 4 looked better even without graphic mods, and most of the resources are just reused from it, which is expected, but disappointing. The story is abysmal, and their method of telling it primarily through reading notes and listening to tapes is lackluster at best. Furthermore, having no moral decisions for players to make, like in previous Fallouts, only further disconnects a player from caring about it. The combat is something I've always had an issue with in Fallout games, as it feels clunky and outdated to me. Adding PvP to this style of combat has only served to highlight and exacerbate just how clunky and outdated it is. It's seemingly just a rinse and repeat of basic peeking and shooting over and over with an AI that was made in the early 2000s, which, as you would expect, gets boring and old fast. Additionally, the entire PvP system in the game is an absolute joke. While the devs had good intentions by creating a PvP system whereby players don't grief each other, instead they've entirely killed PvP and what makes online survival crafters great. The building system is fun, and I like that they have a blueprint style system similar to Rust. That being said, it feels unfinished, and it has its fair share of bugs which really affect the experience. Additionally, I couldn't see any real reason to bother with base building outside of RPing. People can't steal your stuff, and trying to grief you only means they'll become hunted and inevitably lose their own resources from it. Bethesda themselves stated that they aren't really sure what the game is, and it shows. It feels like a mix between an MMO, a survival crafter, and a co-op RPG. Not defining itself as one of these and focusing on that during development has made the game as a whole suffer. Honestly, it feels as though Bethesda rushed releasing the game, and if they had spent another 6 months to a year on it, the final product could have been considerably better. Now here's where things get confusing, because even though I've said a number of negative things about the game, I'm actually really enjoying it. Galthad and I have been having a great time exploring the world and going on a bunch of adventures. Now that is most certainly in part due to our ability to have fun in games together, even in the worst of circumstances. However, there is something undeniably fun about the game that keeps us going. While it has started to become a bit grindy now, we still have moments where our excitement in the game is renewed. For example, just the other night, we had our first encounter with a Deathclaw. It blindsided us, and we quickly worked together to get the upper hand on it and kill it. I'd be lying if I didn't say it had me on the edge of my seat yelling about it at the time. The conclusion that I've come to is that the game can be fantastic or terrible, and it really depends what you want from it. If you are looking for an edge of your seat, adrenaline-fueled PvP experience, then this is most certainly not the game for you. On the other hand, if you're looking for a fun co-op RPG to play with friends, then I'd highly recommend it. It is undeniable that the game has issues, both via bugs and core decisions for the game. Ultimately though, the bugs will and are being patched, and the core issues such as PvP will resolve themselves via community servers and server mods, both of which are coming. I think it's a bit rich on Bethesda's behalf to put a AAA price on this game in its current state. Though once they've had time to iron out the issues and drop community servers, I think it'll be worth the price. Until then, I'd suggest waiting for a decent sale before you grab it. My main disappointment from this game is that I was hoping to have another game to create content on aside from Rust. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love Rust. It's probably my favourite game of all time, and I'll never stop making content for it. However, I wouldn't mind creating content on something else as well. Alas, after playing Fallout 76 extensively, I just don't see a point in doing my style of content for this game, which leaves me disappointed and a little butthurt. I had high hopes for this game, and honestly, I expected a hell of a lot more from a AAA game dev that has been in the industry for 32 years. Some of the decisions they have made are amateur at best, even by indie developer standards, let alone such an experienced dev team. Ultimately, I feel as though this game as a whole is a fail. They need to be quick with getting the dedicated servers out and giving communities enough control to fix core issues with it. Otherwise, I'd say the longevity of this game is limited at best, and it will fade away into an ocean of failed survival crafters. I'm sure there are those that will agree with me, and those that will disagree with me. This is just my own observations and thoughts on the game. I'd love to know what you guys think about it. Leave a comment and let me know your thoughts, as well as if you've actually played it. Do you agree or disagree with what I've said? I'm very curious to know what all of you think of the game. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.